Hello and welcome. This is Tamsin for the Money Coach from tamsinyoung.com, and this is Tapping with Tamsin. So today I'm going to talk about what EFT is and how it works. So tapping, EFT, emotional freedom technique, is all about using just your simple fingers and tapping on the meridian points. If you're familiar with acupressure or acupuncture, you'll know how they either tap or put needles in various parts of the body. It's all relating back to the Chinese way of medicine and the meridian system. So the meridians are the energy channels that run through the body. Now, what happens when we experience an emotional or physical state that is negative? So something like anger, fear, or anxiety. Our brain moves into an alert mode and puts the body into either fight, flight, or freeze mode. So fight is it's going to get ready to fight and protect itself. Flight is where you're going to turn tail and run. And freeze mode is where you literally freeze. You become like that deer with the eyes in the headlight mode, where you just cannot do anything. So these were good responses when we were back in the cave age, and we had saber-toothed tigers running around, and we had to be aware of them and watch out for them and be very cautious of what we were doing. That was really very good. But nowadays we don't have those worries. We don't have to be worried about being attacked by a tiger or a lion or something like that. But we still get all these physical responses through our body. And a lot of this is through overthinking and overcommitment. So when the fight, flight, or freeze response is triggered, hormones and adrenaline are released into the body stream. And these can be effective for up to 8 minutes in the body. And it can take 3 to 4 hours for it to clear out of the body. The area of the brain responsible for this is the limbic brain. And this runs your subconscious thoughts. It encodes experiences with an emotional charge. And this is key because it is the emotional charge to the experience that impacts us, not actually the experience. Obviously, the experience may have hurt us. There may have been some physical abuse, but it is our emotional attachment to us. And if we can get rid of and break that emotional attachment to that experience, we can free ourselves up to move forward and not be living in that pain. So these experiences get flagged as being something to be aware of because it could mean danger. For example, if as a child you were bitten by a dog, as an adult you may have what may seem to be an irrational fear of dogs, and you can't understand why. But when you go back and you remember that you were bitten by a dog when you were younger, because maybe it was an occasion that you don't really remember, your brain has recorded a dog as something to be scared of. So every time you see a dog, and it may even just be a picture of a dog that you see, or you're seeing a dog in a movie, and your body will react in the same way that it did when you had that experience. So the safety feature in our brain is fantastic, but it really isn't needed as much nowadays. And it now inhabits an imaginary place of fears, worries, anxieties, resentments. And so you could think of an imaginary snake, and your body will act as if there is a real snake in the room. So fight or flight becomes the norm, and it becomes very wearing for the body. And it can result in illness, weight fluctuations, addictions, or anything else that creates disease for us. In an alert state, the amygdala takes over the thinking part of the brain. And when this happens, there is little or no ability to respond with logic, rationale, or even speech. We cannot respond effectively, and this is the most important part that we need to remember. When our body goes into this automatic response, we cannot think logically. We can't even understand why we do some of the things that we do. So where EFT or tapping comes in is when you tap on those meridian points, you're acting, it's like a pattern interrupter, because it turns off this response and it sends calming signals to the body, and it supports the brain to recognize that it is actually safe. And it seems crazy to think that just doing a little bit of tapping can actually change how you feel. But I would encourage you to give it a try and you will see. So tapping is effective when you're in a stressful situation, or even when you're just recalling a similar experience. It counteracts the stress response and it reprograms the hippocampus. So you don't have to stay with your old ways, thoughts, or beliefs. You can change and you can create peace and health without pain and hardship in your life. It doesn't change the past. You can never go back into your past and erase that memory. But what we're wanting to do is change our reaction to it by eliminating the emotional attachment. And that is what EFT tapping does. It breaks the chain. It may take some time. It may take some perseverance. There may be a number of things that add up to this whole thing that you have, and you have to pull out a couple of, if you imagine a table with a couple of legs, sometimes you have to knock a couple of legs off before the table loses balance and falls off. So it isn't always necessarily a miracle cure in something that's going to happen overnight, but it is something that can help you in the moment when you are stressful, and it can help you deal with the past and change how you feel, how you react to things. It is one of the most powerful tools that you can add to your tool belt. Thank you.